Short swing, killer live from the ghetto. The hood messenger, let them know hell's close. Black burial, the devil in a black cloak. Street gospel, light of the tempo. Short swing, killer live from the ghetto. The hood messenger, let them know hell's close.
Yo, what is up? We want to welcome you to the Street Gospel Podcast. I'm your host, Dave One, and this is episode number 4. We want to let everybody know that we thank you for checking us out. We've had a lot of great responses to the show on Street Gospel TV, on YouTube, and all the podcast platforms. You guys have been checking us out, DMing us, letting us know that we're doing a good job. But we want to get down to the business. But before we get down to the business, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Our main sponsor out there is SaviorBrand.com. They are a faith-based clothing line. They are into the streets, to street art, the martial arts, graffiti art. They represent Christ. So if you're out there, please check them out. Pick up a few shirts. They're also on IG, so you can check them out at Savior Brand. But before we go on, I just want to give a little introduction to somebody here. He came all the way down the hill. He's an old friend, and I'm very thankful that he came out today. I got to put on a little banger for him before I introduce it, but he's a great guy. He's a brother in the Lord. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a son. He's a son of God. He's a good brother in the Lord. He's the CEO of Srvntz. If you haven't seen that, I don't know where you've been because they're all over the place. But I just want to give it up, and I want you to give it up for my homie. Give it up for Los. What up, Los?
What's up, baby boy?
What's going on, brother?
Right here. Excited.
Dope, man. What's going on, brother?
I'm pumped, man.
You're pumped?
I'm pumped.
How's it going, man?
It all turned real.
It all turned real?
With Camo.
Camel's the man
Headphones.
right there. Cam's ready all the time, bro.
Yeah.
Cam represents, bro, all the time. How you been, man?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah?
Good.
I appreciate it, man. You coming down, bro.
Yeah.
It's definitely a blessing to have you down here, man.
I'm going to be honest. I was honored. I didn't think you would have me on. Not so soon. I knew eventually, it'll come. Yeah. Then you hit me up. I was like, so snap.
Well, I think you have a good story, man. I think the whole thing with the podcast is we're just trying to get good stories out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at the first 3 podcasts, I mean, there's like 3 different, totally different people. I mean, we had a fighter, we had a shoe guy. My friend Mike's a history teacher. You're a guy that has his own business. From the streets. I just wanted to mix up good stories, and that's what we're kind of looking for, man. And I definitely know your story, or at least most of your story.
Yeah.
I mean, we go back a long ways.
Yeah.
I mean, how long we go back?
I shouldn't have called you baby boy. It's more like uncle. What's up, uncle?
Oh, here we go. But we know each other for a long time.
Yes.
Our fathers are from the same neighborhood.
Yeah. So you can't even put a time on how long we've known each other.
Right.
Because we may have been kids that don't even remember we were in the same room together, and
what I was tripping out on is I sent you a little clip of a video, and it was my sister-in-law's like first birthday party.
Yeah.
And you were a little kid, and there's a lot of little kids that we know that they're not little kids no more.
That blew my mind.
I mean, they're like 40 years old now.
Yeah.
But they were in that video, and they were like 4, 5, 6 years old, and you were one of them in there, and I was tripping out on that. But we go back from church.
Yeah.
I mean, we met in church. How did your family come to church and give their life to God?
From what I've heard with their testimony, my dad was just PCP blown, man. He was just shot out. My mom was pregnant of me, and they got invited to what's that movie? Thief in the Night.
Oh,
back in the 80s. They said it was Bell High School or something. Okay. They had it at.
So wait. So if people don't know Thief in the Night, I think I was telling Camo about this movie one time. Thief in the Night was an end times movie.
Scary in the 80s.
Yeah, it was scary. So you can imagine being like a little kid and watching Thief in the Night, and it's the story of God coming back, taking his people, the rapture as we know it in church. And a lot of people, we were afraid. So
that movie was scary. When you're like 8, 7, watch that, like, oh,
you're running to the altar to give your life to Jesus again.
Yeah, so they told me that's how they got saved, was in Bell. My mom said my dad needed God, so she didn't go with him to the altar. So he just got up, started walking, and my mom said she went right behind them, pregnant of me.
And that was it. That had to be
that was it.
Mid-'80s? Early
82.
80s?
If she was
82?
pregnant by me, 82.
82.
Yeah.
So you grew up in church.
My whole life.
Church is all you knew.
All I knew. Even when I was gone, it's still all I knew.
So you talk about when you were gone. I mean, when you're in church, I know, you grew up in church and you come to a certain age where you question a lot of things. Yeah. And is God real? Where's God? You get some pressure from outside sources. Did that happen to you?
Man, I really didn't really know God until I came back from my little detour. for so long, we were brought up in church, and
so you were just a church kid. You never had a true experience.
I seen the hands lifted up. I lift my hands. Go to the altar when you're feeling some type of way. I go to the altar.
That's. I didn't know that about you, and I think this is the thing. And I'll say this: people always ask me, like, when did God touch you? And I could honestly say God touched me when I was 6 years old.
Wow.
I can honestly say that I remember. And I remember feeling him in my heart, in my spirit. Oh, okay. God's here, and I remember those times. And I even remember Cam when he got touched by the Holy Spirit. But I always wonder, you still have to have an experience with Christ.
I may have had, thinking back, little encounters, but that one encounter that turned my life, I did not go backwards after that day,
right,
was when I gave my life back to God.
That's a trip.
I mean, I was crying in Joshua Scouts. We all went to Joshua Scouts. I was crying on a bleacher at one of the Joshua Scouts, and Robert, your uncle, walked up to me. Mijo, you okay? God's touching you. I said, nah, I miss my mom and dad. I was crying. He may have thought I was having the encounter, but I was like, man, I miss my parents, yo.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So now you totally turned your back on God at one time, and I kind of remember those days because there was a group of young guys that kind of just started fading away from church. It's you get to that point where your mom and dad are taking you to church, but you kind of get into a rhythm of I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
And then you start getting to that age where it's why do I have to go?
Yeah.
Especially in those days, we were at church almost every day, right?
Oh, dude, I think I was doing so well until the time that allowed me to detour. And I don't want to say it was anybody's fault because I was 15, but I think I would have done good, man, if this accident didn't happen in our family's lives. And I hated God. I could genuinely say I was angry. I held on to an anger instead of God. And
is that when that anger? Is that what?
Oh yeah. I think
kind of drove you away.
I think it was the anger, and it taps into the stuff happened to me as a child, to the stuff that happened to me as a teenager. And after I left at 15, 16, all hell broke loose, dude. And I couldn't express myself until I'm 38 now. And now I'm looking back this is why this took place. This is why I reacted this way. This is why I had such a temper, It all stemmed from something, but I never, like you tell me about a certain situation in my life, I should try and get, maybe a little counseling or just to open up to someone. And I never did.
I think a lot of people are like that. Yeah. I think a lot of people are hold stuff. I had my instructor, my jiu-jitsu instructor in here, and he said he suppressed a lot of stuff in his life. He just kind of didn't deal with it. He kind of just pushed it down and pushed it to the back of his head and just try to keep moving forward. And I always tell people that you end up burying a problem that
and then you pop
alive.
Yeah, you
it's still
pop
alive.
At times where it's whoa.
Right.
It wasn't even that situation. It was all that
everything built up
junk, and it happened to pop on this.
Right. So, what happened when you left? When you finally when do you remember when you were just I'm done with church. I'm done with God. I want to do my own thing.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna give it raw. Like I told you, there's no limits. It was a Sunday morning. I was in church. I was in my room getting ready for church. A normal Sunday morning, just like Cam and Ash and all you guys when they're teens. Hey, we're getting ready. Let's head on out. Cool. And as I'm getting ready, I'm playing a little worship music. I have 2 little speakers in my room, going to town, getting ready. And then I hear a yell, stop. And I was like, what? And I walk out the door, and I go into the living room, and my dad's has my mom in the corner of our living room. I couldn't swallow that alone image. My dad.
So they were believers forever.
Yeah, believers. I've never seen them drink, never seen them cuss, never seen my father do anything that would question, oh, well, he's a Christian. No, he was hard worker, everything, bro. And
just to I know your parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were my Sunday school teachers, me and Melissa, before we were even together.
Exactly. I've seen them take care of your age group. I even went a couple times, and they love people.
They made an impact on my life, for sure, and Melissa's life.
Yeah. So when I walked into that room, I saw my mom defending herself. My dad was angry. I need to protect my mom. I didn't know what, I ran up on my father, and we're face to face. And before you know it, I swing on him. I'm in a headlock. I'm getting choked out. I look over to the telephone that was in our living room. They're calling 911. He lets me go, and he walks to his room. I remember walking into my room just so tore up, so broken, dude. I had a machete. There was a machete in my room that we purchased in Tijuana. They were selling machetes with O.J. Simpson edition thing. So I was like, oh, dude, this is cool. Let me get it. $38, $40. I'll give you $5. Cool, take it.
Wow.
I bought it. But that was the first thing I went for, was that knife. And as I went to the front door to go find my dad, cops were already all up in the pad. So I just kind of like tossed that thing. I remember that Sunday morning, I didn't drive.
That's probably good, right?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm not trying to be this bad dude. I was 15 years old, but emotions are emotions, no matter what age you are.
State of mind.
No matter what age you are, a knife is a knife, dog.
Yeah, if you're reaching for
whether you're freaking 10 or freaking 20, right, it's going somewhere. Right. Out of anger. And I remember the cops just took my dad. I stood outside the front door of our apartment, and I watched my dad that Sunday morning get taken in handcuffs.
Man.
Yeah.
And was that was the change for you?
That right
that was
there,
done?
that my dad and my mom were my world, dog. Every child, you don't want to see your dad fighting your mom. That jacked me up. And I think the main thing that made me turn away from God completely was when I had a pastor sit down with me and my mom, and he said, Carlos, so that way you won't act up anymore. Your mom messed up on your dad. And we got to get over this. I couldn't understand that now. Now I'm like, I was so angry at my dad. But it was...
No, you're angry at your mom.
So to me, I'm like, F both you guys, man. I don't want nothing to do with you guys both or the God you serve. I'm out. And after that, just drinking, partying, getting drunk.
Were you? Because I know they reconciled.
Yeah. See, that was the tough part.
Was that a hard part? Was that a hard part for you?
People that know my family just know something happened and they got back together. Praise the Lord. But you weren't there when they weren't together. You weren't there when I see my mom hiding from my father. When I see my dad parked down the street with his work jacket and everything late at night just creeping because he's trying to find the dude, or my mom's trying to stay. That jacked me up more to see my mom lash at my father in ways where I'm like,
because
we weren't brought up like that, bro.
Yeah, your whole world was just
like, what am I seeing now? My dad's the enemy. Mom don't want to talk to dad. We can't be around dad and mom together. So we gotta keep low key where we're at sometimes. Hey, we're at Diaz this day. Don't let dad know. Okay, because he'll probably pop up. So people seeing, yes, it's restored. Carlos, get over it. Little Carlos, no, you didn't see me sleeping on the floor in my aunt's house. Her waking me up saying, mijo, go in the garage. and I'm sitting in the garage. Man, when say Cam was 15 years old, 16 years old, and he's in his tia's garage, and I remember laying on a bed with the sink, and I'm looking up at the little vent going in circles at night. Like, so I'm like,
what am I doing here?
How did I go from
a secure, stable family, all you knew, serving God, to
I'm in a garage.
You're in a garage. Man, bro.
A bed in the garage, and I remember the vent because that was the most light coming in. Just spinning.
Wild, bro. And after that, it was.
And I'm not trying to say pity me, but I understand now. A 15-year-old kid sick, like, that's a lot of weight, dog.
It's a lot of weight when all you known, like you said, your mom and dad came to God before you were even born. So you're born into church. You're born into, hey, I have a good home. You know, we know our parents' testimonies, but when you have that happen to you, it's devastating.
I remember my dad would visit, and I never seen my dad cry. He'd be in tears, just saying, I love you. I'm sorry. And I'm just confused because I love him too.
Right.
I miss him too. But I'm just so shot out with who was the guy.
Right.
Why did mom do that?
Yeah, what was it?
Why did you make mom feel that? Like, all this stuff was just like, it was too much for me. I didn't have to deal with that. Like, basically, that's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, that's a trip because a lot of people kind of when they leave God, it's a gradual thing, right?
Yeah.
This was kind of like more of a shock and
This
just
was a flat out boom.
rocked your world,
Yeah,
like one punch, boom.
And they may have been dealing with something or these things for about a week or two or a month or whatever, but it just came to me like Sunday morning service stuff.
That's tough, man. So your life after that just
I left the
spiral?
pad about 17 years old. Left the pad.
Where'd you go?
Downey, off of Alameda and Paramount. I got a job as an electrician, Simon's electrician. Me, Champ, a couple of my buddies got work there, and I actually got a check of like $4 to $5 a week.
Back then, that was good.
I was like, bro, I'm freaking rolling. Let's do this. I'm renting the room out. Cool, I'll take it. You don't give a 17-year-old hurt kid own place. Oh, man, so much happened in that house. It's crazy.
What was going on?
Dude, you name it, it happened, from females to sleeping around to ODs. The first time I OD'd was in that house. I OD'd off some stuff, and I remember getting dragged from my bedroom into the living room into the garage, and they were holding me up against the wall, just trying to wake me up. And I finally woke up out of it. You know, it was a trip, and I went right back.
You're 17, left the house, got a job, started doing drugs, and you're already OD'ing?
Yeah, I just didn't understand drugs. Like, you think like, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was with Fitchett, me and my buddy, high school dudes. We were doing smoking weed, and these older guys came into the house, leather jackets, bro. I was like, who the heck wears leather, dog? Like, we're like little hip hop kids, you know. So we're like chilling. I go into the kitchen. They close the door, and they had all the dope there. And I was like, I seen homie do it, so I was like, I'm jumping right in, brah. I remember that feeling. I was stuttering. I even looked at the guy and said, can I get more of this stuff? Like, who do I call? Like, I was just sprung. So,
and that was meth?
No, cocaine.
Cocaine.
This was before meth. So this was cocaine in that house. There was ecstasy in that house, weed in that house, and then drinking.
So you went from 0 to 100 just
real
like
quick,
that.
just like the song. 0 to 100 real quick.
Wow.
And then that's when Ouija board started coming around. A guy was dating.
So you got involved in that?
I'm talking about everything was popping in that pad. Like, if the enemy wanted to set me up, that was the pad. Like my homie was dating a girl, and I remember walking into that where I OD'd at in the garage. I opened the door, and the candles went out, and the girls went, ah. I turned on the light, and I was like, what the hell are you guys doing? And the girl calls the board Papa because she believes that her father, she speaks to him through this board. So I see the board there. The candles are lit. They went out when I walked in, and I'm like, man, you guys are smoked out, you know? So they brought the board into the living room. So I was like, I know not to mess with this. Even in my sin, doped up, doing my thing, like,
you were like, this is
not cool,
like,
yo.
I can do every drug, every girl,
cool,
everything else, but
that was
when
cool.
it comes to that, you already knew that I gotta chill.
Oh, so check it. So this girl starts playing with the board, right? Calling it Papa, this and that, da 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 da. by the end of the night, it's about 3, 4 in the morning, and this board starts just flipping out. So it's basically wanted someone's soul before the sun comes up. So it's asking around for a soul. And they said, who is it? Who do you want? And it basically wrote out anger. And they said, why are you angry? Is there someone in this room? Trip out on it. I was like, man, there's only like 10, 15 of us right here. So I'm like, away from the board. Say you guys were in there. Is it David? It went, no. Came back to the middle. Is it Camel? No. Came back to the middle. We're just calling different. Is it Carlos? I said yes. And came back to the middle.
Oof.
Right there, I was like, it got my attention. And they said, why are you angry at Carlos? It's spelled out G-O-D.
So the spirit,
Even in my sin, in my rut,
right?
God still had like this little
Some covering.
protection that I didn't even know about. You know, I seen a post one day about a guy walking down the street and all these angels fighting demons around them, and it basically says like you don't even know that God's covering you, and that was that image.
I believe that, man. You know, there's a lot of times when God brings a name to my mind, and I'll pray for them. You know, just lift them up. You know, I don't know why, and I think about those people, and I say, man, I wonder who's praying for those people. Yeah. They don't have any family that love God or know God,
right?
And I think to my head, like, I might be the only person praying for them. Like, I take that serious because there has some sort of covering or some sort of the Lord still speaking to them. Somebody was still praying for you somewhere.
Oh yeah. And then little by little, you know, I said I'm gonna try it. I want to try this, you know. So I put my hands on the thing. This was later on, you know, living there for a while. There was a shadow that we would call Papa in the house because, again, we thought it's the girl's. I knew it wasn't. The girl thought it was her father. Oh, things opening up. Oh, it's Papa. It ain't Papa, yo. But I put my hands on the game one time, and I felt it move, man. It was different, you know. It wasn't like you felt somebody, like there was just an eerie little presence on that sucker.
Did you like it, or did you grow to like it?
I didn't like it. I played it that once. I put my hands on it. I felt it move around, and I was done.
You were done?
I was done. I didn't continue messing with that. But I believe that opened up a door.
Because you allowed that in your home, right?
I opened up a door in my life with that, you know. I can't get in detail about what doors are spiritual, this and that, but some people probably break it down for you. But I do know that just your hand upon is just, you're just saying, okay, let me try this out.
I think a lot of people think that, you know, that those bad spirits could just jump on you. Oh, I can be walking down this, it jump on you. You have to open the door.
Yeah.
It's like the Holy Spirit, right? The Holy Spirit wants to get you and touch you, but until you open the door and allow him, or open your heart and allow him to come in. I was telling a guy that one time, he's like, oh man, we were working in this tunnel, right? And there was some dudes that I guess they were in that tunnel, deep in that tunnel. They're pentagrams and doing devil worship, whatever. And the owner of our company was like, hey, Dave, you know, the devil's going to try to jump on some of our workers. And I was like, hold on, man. They might not be believers, but they have to allow that into their life to do that, you know. And so I always tell people, once you open that door, it's very hard to close that door.
Yeah. It ain't spooky spiritual. It ain't something like that guy was probably tripping. It's some things are common sense, bro. It's common sense, dog.
Right.
Ain't nothing gonna crack if you ain't even involved with anything like that. But the day you purchase, the day you play, the day you open, it's on.
So from there, where did your life go? So we're talking about 17, 18.
18. I remember I tried committing suicide. That's when they found me on Paramount Boulevard. Again, I would try to go back to my parents, but it just hurt. It freaking
Were your parents okay at this time?
Yeah, they were separated for about maybe a year and a half.
But still in your mind,
and it just jacked me up. Like, man, and I can't say it was their fault. Again, I held on to this.
Did you feel like they were being fake? Or are there?
I was just bitter.
Bitter
with my mom. It's like your mom. And you find it's like, man, that hurts, Mom.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I don't want to say you're my God, but you're flawless, man. You're my mom.
Yeah.
And it just like jacked up this thought of who I am.
And you had siblings, right?
Oh yeah. and trip out on this. I can't remember the prayer, but my little sister Deanne started going through it. I remember as I was tripping, I visited Huntington Park, and I seen her, and she's crying. And I gave her a hug. I said, I love you. I'm here for you. Whatever you need. I know I'm not at the pad, but hit me up if you need anything. And then Leanna was just really little, but I'd seen my sister Deanna just tore up. And she was there.
She had to live with it every day.
And she was there. And I said a prayer. I can't tell you to who, but I said a prayer along the lines of, leave my sisters alone and come play with this. Come put it all on me. And I remember that prayer. I don't know in depth or exactly how, but I do know I said, whoever I'm praying this to, leave my little sisters alone. And I'll take the weight. Like, let's dance. And damn, we freaking danced.
Yeah, once again, you invited it in, huh?
Exactly. See, that's why you got to be careful. For a while, I never thought about that prayer or even shared that prayer to people. But as I begin to look back on my life, that prayer was effective. And that prayer wasn't to God.
Words, right?
It wasn't to God.
Words are powerful.
Powerful.
Right?
Powerful. Like I said, then, maybe a year or two later, I'm trying to commit suicide. I remember I was popping all kinds of pills. I was at my parents' house now because I couldn't maintain my job. I couldn't pay my rent.
The drugs?
As soon as I would get picked up for work, and I would tell the guys, we're working today. And they would make fun of me to this day, like, fool, we went to pick you up that day, and you're at your window talking about with 20 other dudes in your pad getting loaded. Wow. It didn't last. But I opened up the door to all these drugs. So now I'm back at my parents' home. They're reconciling, doing their thing, but I'm coming back with addictions. I like smoking weed. I like drinking. I like doing drugs.
Now what was obviously your dad's from the neighborhood, from the streets. He had to have known you were.
Oh, my dad knew I was
right?
loaded. He's ran in on fights. There's a time where there was 3 of us on one guy. I felt bad because we knew this guy. He was close to us. He even told me at one time we went in the house, what are you doing? Like, what do you... My dad's about the business. Trust me, there were some times where that fool chased me, and I was scared. Like, I pushed it a little too far. But he also gave me that room to mess up, but let me know. You're jacking up. Check yourself. What's going on? And I didn't ever wanted to talk to him about it, so that the time I was at their house, I was angry one night. I was hurt, and my mind was freaking, and things took place, bro. And bam, that aloneness. I was alone again, and I was like, I'm over this stuff. My parents, this and that, popping pills. I remember walking outside the apartment, and I just started fumbling. I started hitting me, and as it hit me, I just threw some more in my mouth. I went up to my uncle's house. He didn't answer. I went down the steps, and that's when I was on Paramount. And I called Fitch, and I said, "Bro, I got scared because it started hitting me now, and I couldn't talk." I said, "I'm by your pad. Come get me." And across the street, and that's all I said. And I fell out on Paramount Boulevard. I remember waking up, looking at a spinning fan like this one here. Then I blacked out again. Then I woke up on a bed. They were wheeling me out of the door. I seen the door frame, and then I was on the doctor's bed.
Wow.
They said I needed to drink something or else they're gonna pump my stomach.
What'd your parents say then?
I still didn't listen or receive, or I didn't want to hear nothing.
Yeah.
I was just, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a buddy named Nick. He came to visit me, and he says that I look possessed. He says, I remember you on that bed. You had I had dreadlocks at that time. So I had dreadlocks. He says, your eyes were completely black, and you were just tied to the bed.
Did you just not want to live? Were you
pretty much? If I took them pills, yeah,
it was just done.
Freaking done. Like just.
It was just life that just built up.
My dad describes it as demonic rage. And again, remember, I said I played with the Ouija board. I'm dealing with my emotions. I could only speak of my emotions. I don't know what happened spiritually. I don't know what's going on, dog. I don't know what demons. And I'll get to that demon part as later on we get into this conversation. But I was just tired. I remember I went back home with a bunch of freaking things that there's like these little tapes that held like for oxygen.
Yeah.
I remember I was in my bedroom looking up like, what the heck? And I remember my mom's friend, Champ's mom, came to visit me and started crying. I love you. We're here for you. And it didn't affect me. I was just like, I was basically checked out.
And this is what age?
18, 19.
Man.
And then it gets worse. I move in with a bunch of strippers.
Okay. I mean, so you're just keep declining.
Well, they hit me up with a paid-for pad, and I can sell now. When the meth comes in, I can sell the dope to these girls as they get out of work.
Right.
We didn't have to do nothing at this house. We got stuck there for years, bro. That's when it started getting real bad. There was no parents there. We had all the money. We're selling drugs now. We ain't big time in it, dog. I ain't had no car or nothing,
Just
but
enough.
I had enough to freaking, flaunt. And then we got these girls, 6, a lot of them with money.
Wow.
And it was just everybody going nuts.
And then at what time did you finally start saying, I got
fast forward to now I'm 25. I was about 25, 24. I got a girl pregnant. My son was born, and I was stuck on meth, man.
Was this a relationship or just
No, one time. Oof. I met this girl. Yo, was cracking, freaking. She had a loud mouth. I said, oh, I like this girl. Now I don't like that girl at all. Man, it's difficult, bro. I remember we just hooked up, and then I'm pregnant.
Because your son's like 16 now, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 16 now.
So when you found out about your son,
I wasn't ready.
That didn't impact you in any way?
It didn't impact me.
Because a lot of guys will go, I'm having a kid. I need to do something.
And they stopped.
Yeah.
And they were like, cool.
Right.
Me, no.
Kept going.
The whole pregnancy, I wasn't really around. Just trying to do these little jobs, trying to make a little bit of money. The day he was born, they called me, and I was coming down off 3 days being up, so I didn't want to go.
And you're still living with
Now I'm at my parents, but it's getting a little wild now. I'm getting older. Daddy's getting tired of this.
Right.
This is not cool anymore.
We're talking
almost
about 10 years.
David, I was an addict.
Right.
Sleeping wherever I can sleep. If the door was open, I sneak in the pad just to sleep, to eat. My mom would leave me food if I was hungry. It was bad. I was an addict, dog, like straight up. Took a lot of years out of my life. I remember I went to go see him at the hospital, and I was just dehydrated, sweating. You ever seen Blow?
Yeah.
You know how he looked in the back in the doctor's
well,
office?
Yeah, that.
I was that
Right.
guy. I was that dude, just sweating, looking, tore up.
And at this time, are you on meth?
I'm on meth now.
That's it.
It's
Once
on
meth
meth
hit,
coke, freaking anything and everything. I lace up a blunt with the methamphetamines and cocaine, and there was nothing like, hey, let's smoke a cigarette. Nah, we're gonna dip that in something.
Oh God!
It got bad where I would wake up, smoke it. I couldn't fall asleep, I'll smoke it. I hid stuff in my parents' bathrooms and cars and outside bushes, and I knew where to go and just get my high.
Why did your parents always take you back?
My dad didn't.
Your dad didn't?
No.
So it was mom's love.
I know it was mom. And here's the thing, and now that you think about it and we're talking about it.
Because what are we talking, 3-4 times?
A lot of times.
Okay, so, I could only imagine how this conversation goes. I want to come back to the house. Okay, come back. And then I can imagine your dad, because I know him, I think, fairly well. I can't imagine him, though, having constant conversation with you. Okay, you can't do this, you can't do that.
We almost like
I'm not saying
kind of like passed by, like
right.
I knew when dad was coming to the pad,
right?
So I know I'm gonna be out the pad. I knew what time my dad leave because I would watch him leave.
That's funny.
So many mornings because I'd be up.
That's funny because I had a couple uncles that passed away. One from alcohol, one from drugs. And they would come stay at the house, right? And my dad's rule was, you come stay here. If you need to live here, that's fine. When I wake up to leave to go to work, you have to leave. And my dad will leave, 6:30. Get up.
Same with my dad.
Gotta go. See you when I get home.
Same with my dad, but I was already out the pad. And I would watch him leave, and I come in the pad. And when he's coming home, I better be off that couch. I better be out the pad.
Yeah.
I just better not be in the house when
Right.
my dad gets home from work. I knew that. So
Yeah.
I will be. So you couldn't really be honest with you, man. He probably never seen me. He knew I was there because I know he said he smelt me because I would smoke cigarettes. And sometimes if I'm on the side of the pad, no one smokes on the pad.
Right.
I could smell it in the morning.
And what were your sisters thinking when you were coming back and forth?
I ruined my relationship with my sister Deanna. I physically abused her, verbally abused her. This anger that I talked about just lashed on everybody now. It wasn't like when I seen her at church, I love you, I'm here for you. Now it's like brother left, he came back, I don't know what's wrong, brother.
Yeah.
Brother's tripping. And I was just...
I remember seeing some of the anger around when you would come around a little bit. I'm thankful you were always cool with me. You know, we kept it.
I respected you 100%, bro.
We kept it pretty cool. When I would see you, we would talk, and I would be like, man, this guy's jacked up right now. Look at him.
Be honest with you, bro.
I didn't know this much though. I didn't know this much. No, I knew that you guys were messed up on some drugs. I knew that you were jumping around. I had heard about the famous house a couple times.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, but I didn't know it was that bad. But and I remember you being an angry guy. That was the thing. You were an angry guy. I remember a couple guys you punched. I won't say their names, but I remember a couple guys that you punched, and I'm like, what the heck? And I didn't ever see that from you. I just saw Carlos, little Carlos. That's what we called you because your dad's big Carlos. But we call, you know, and we would see you, and I was married already and stuff. I had my family and stuff, but I would see you. And I remember when you started trying to clean up your life, and you went out to Kansas, right?
Yeah. So here's this. Check this out. So my son is born. I didn't get my son till he was 1 year old. I couldn't see him.
Did you try?
I couldn't visit. I tried, but I was smoked out.
How about did your family see him?
My family, yeah. They will visit. They will go, but I was so smoked. She finally let me see him. And now that I look back, you know what? She had every right to not give him to me. Because the day that I got him, I remember I put him on the kitchen. I was playing with him, and guess what? When that time came, hey, Mom, you got Ez, right? No, Mio, you need to keep him with you and let him lay with you in your room, and you guys hang out. All right, but I'm an addict too. I gotta
go get high.
So I'm laying my kid down in the bed the first night I ever had him, and there's a window next to my bed. Got my foil paper out, started sparking up my freaking drugs, and as I'm blowing all the smoke out, the meth into the window, it all came into his face.
Oof.
A couple times where I'm like, so now the first night with my son, instead of embracing him, loving, I'm tripping that my son's tripping. I'm listening to his chest. I'm seeing if he's breathing. I'm an addict, Dave.
That's heavy, man.
I'm an addict, bro. And the whole time I'm like, should I tell my mom? No, I can't tell my mom. I'm on drugs. She's going to get like, so now you got this kid,
with another kid
on drugs with a baby.
Right.
And I doubt anything was taking place, but I was flipping. Like, oh my God.
I mean, the illustration of that, you know, thinking in your head, here I am, I'm high. I haven't ever met my son or seen him. Here he is the first night. I can't release the drugs, so I'm gonna blow it out the window. And that little illustration of it blowing back into your son's face, whether he's hot, whether he got high or not, probably not, but just that little whiff of going back over him must have been like,
I was flipping out. And I didn't even flip out. What's sad is I didn't flip out, oh, my kid. I flipped out because, he's probably high.
Yeah. And everybody's going to find out.
That concern part was out the window the day, the minute I pulled out the stuff. Like, I should have not done, you know, I was just selfish.
So I think a lot of people don't understand how powerful drugs are.
Yeah.
I mean, they make you do anything, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean,
well,
steal from your family.
First night, I never stole.
Never stole.
Got that on camera? 100%. My word. I never stole. There was dudes that were with me that stole. Oh, man, I couldn't stand that. I couldn't stand someone that steals, and I couldn't stand a liar. So as much as you know me, Dave, from then and now, I will never lie, bro. I will let you know the truth, dog. I don't like that. I feel that just sets you up for...
How did you get money to get high?
Mom selling 20, 40 bags, selling... Because I would buy 8 balls. I would buy a couple 8 balls at a good price, buy a homie that gave me extra. So I would basically buy enough...
To get yourself loaded,
and sell enough to, hey, let me get another ball.
Keep going around.
So it's just...
Right.
It was bad.
Getting high off your own supply, the whole thing.
There you go.
Right.
It just got to a place where my dad, I remember... My dad was tripping on me one night.
Right.
My dad just, like you said, he's an old gangster dude. He got fed up. He said, you know what? Let's go outside and talk because we were freaking tripping in the pad. I went outside the front door at 25, 24. Now I'm not a little 15-year-old kid. I walk out the front door and that fool closed the door on me. He like tricked me, like get you out the pad and close it. And that day I remember kicking the screen, I put a hole in the screen. I couldn't get in the pad though, so I went around the back. I jumped into a window, went into every room looking for them. And now it's him, my mom, Ezra, and Leanna in the back room. And I look at him and he's standing right there. I look at him and he's standing in front of me. And I told him there's no one stopping us now. Because we always have different encounters where we never really got down.
So this is the face-to-face.
So it was like a face-to-face, me and him. And he said, I think he even said, you're right. And boom, he grabbed me again. Boom, headlocked me. But this time, I'm not a little kid. And he's not a young buck either. He grabbed me in the headlock. We fell to the ground. I pulled out of the lock. And I was about to kick his face because his hands were on the floor. And it hit me. I looked over to the left. And my mom's on the phone calling the cops with my sister. And now it's my son.
Oof.
It's Ezra. It's almost like I just went backwards and it jacked me up. Like that quick, God spoke to me. I believe it was just like, you gonna do this again? You see what's going on?
Right.
I walked out the pad. I remember they called the cops. I walked out the pad. I ran back in. I grabbed Ezra. I said, I need to take my son though. I remember I put him in a car. I put the dope underneath his car seat. I had a homie pick me up and we said, let's take him to his mom's real quick. And that was the straw where it got my dad to a place where you coming back, you're serving God. If not, you're gone.
Oof, man. I mean, it must have been a struggle for your dad to say that, to finally say, I have to write off my son now. That's it.
Yeah, I bet it sucked, man.
I mean, what's that, 10 years?
It's a long time.
Of a struggle of just...
Man, I say 15. I didn't get the heavy stuff about 17. Maybe 7 years. But as far as the situation with me, that's a good solid 10. And I was tired.
Yeah,
I was
at
tired.
that point, you're tired, right?
Because it was embarrassing to me one day, David, when I went to church with my parents. I heard them out. I said, you know what? I'll roll to church. And I'm in the back seat, with my kid holding them. And they go out to eat with their friends like they do, fellowshipping. And my mom bought me food with everyone. And I was away for a while, so I didn't really sit by anybody. It was me and my kid right here. And my mom cuts my hamburger in half and gives one to my son and some fries. As a man, I was so embarrassed.
Right.
My mom's cutting a freaking hamburger.
That they bought
for my kid and me to share.
Yeah.
That right there, pissed me off. And I had no one to blame but me. I don't even think they remember, but I remember. And I remember looking at not the people in the eyes, but those that were around me like, oh, I'm embarrassed right now. Freaking embarrassed. There was times where I'd be so loaded and I go to church events and they turn on the lights because they're watching a little film or something. And I remember Twinkie was one of them there and someone else. I was at their table, the lights went on and just the look that they gave me let me know how I looked.
And for those that know, Twinkie is...
That's my best friend's mama right there. Yeah.
That's mama of a lot of people, man. She looks out for
them. And check this out.
Twinkie knew me since I was...
We both know Twinkie. Twinkie, I ain't gonna lie. A heart of gold, bro. She loves you. But for Twinkie one night to stop me from visiting Jesse one day...
Right.
And said, Carlos, hold up. Jesse's coming down on drugs. And if you're gonna bring drugs in this house, you can't come here no more. Now I'm like, damn.
Yeah, Twinkie's the sweetest
Dad,
woman. She's
mom,
the sweetest woman.
When the parents start dropping that, it's freaking done. You guys are just going nuts.
What was the breaking point, man? Was that the breaking point where you just finally said,
that was the breaking point, and I was just like, I gotta just give my life to God. I'm done. I don't have money for a ticket, Mom, Dad. We'll buy you a ticket.
So you decided to go to Kansas City.
And Callie was calling me. He would call me every once in a while. Every time he comes into town, that fool will give me time.
So Pastor Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly Lorky.
Hey, I'm here for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that stood out. To those of you that know people
did they have a home there or something?
They had a home.
Okay.
They had a men's home.
Okay.
For halfway house,
Right. So he kept bugging you, inviting you out, come down.
KC, anytime. I'm right here.
Okay.
Let me know when you want to come. Yeah, I'm cool, dog.
Right.
4 years, 10 years later, I'm like, now I need to go.
So you finally go.
Finally go. I fly out. I remember.
So here's a guy that grew up in L.A. Now you're going out to KC. That had to be a little bit of a culture shock.
I know that I jumped on a plane. I had dope already on me because I got a sack before I left.
So you taking dope on the plane?
Heck yeah, yeah. I need to get high on the way, so I'm getting loaded. I remember sitting in the plane, and there's a fool with the KC hat start throwing up signs. I'm like, this fool's from KC. There's gangsters in KC, but there was a lot of black dudes that bang out there. You know, at least where I was at when I flew in, and I was already out the gate like, what the heck? This is, we land, boom. Youngster David picked me up.
Yeah.
Boutte?
Yeah, Boutte.
He picked me up. Jesse picked me up. And I was like,
so they were already out there.
Yeah, my friend. I got about 3-4 friends already out there.
Your crew of guys are already out there,
but they're safe.
Are they doing good?
Really safe. Yeah,
they're doing
these
good.
dudes are doing good.
Okay. So were you the last of the crew to get out there?
I think Champ went after. No, wait, Champ went before me. I don't remember. I think I was one of the last.
So they were just waiting for you.
Yeah. They were just like, yo. So me with my big brother Jess there, I was like,
were you tripping out on the change in their life?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It didn't affect me because I was still loaded.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, you guys are different, but it didn't hit me, So they picked me up from the airport. I'm like, hey, that black dude was tripping, man. What's going on? I remember the little comment, and I remember the drive to the home. So I'm in the back seat, a lot of woods. Look woodsy. I was like, man, this is
different, right?
Like home, bro. So we get to the home, and the guy's like, yo, my name is so and so. I heard a lot about you. We love you. Da da da. You got any drugs? I was like, yeah.
Straight up. You don't lie.
Yeah, you got drugs. Like, yeah. He's like, you're gonna need to hand that over. I was like, okay. So I gave him my drugs, and he says, if you want, you could sleep a couple days. We have Sunday service, but we give everybody 3 days to sleep off or whatever. I said, nah, let's rock. Like, whatever you guys want to do, let's go to church. Cool. I got to my bunk.
Wait, were you committed to the process at that time? Were you doing it for other reasons?
At this point, I was very curious. Like,
let me see if this works.
Can you do, God? Like,
yeah. Okay.
Can you do, like, I don't.
Were you skeptical? Skeptical?
No, because I had so much positive speaking into my life from every avenue. Like, I knew something was gonna happen good.
Right.
Like, I wasn't rolling the dice. Like,
you were committed.
I just kind of knew, like,
okay,
something's gonna happen.
Okay.
I don't know how,
right,
or when, but I know this is what I need to do.
So you knew the power of Christ.
Yeah. So 100%.
Okay. So you're on board.
Yeah. So I gave him my dope. I wouldn't have gave him my dope if I wasn't. Now I got nothing.
So what happens then?
So I go into a bunk. I'm downstairs. They walk me downstairs, and I'm tripping because it's all bunk beds. Everybody sleeping, like 25 guys, and I'm like, man, black dudes, Mexican dudes, whatever dudes, one bathroom. So I'm like, man, this is stupid. Man. So I get in my bed, lay down, cool. I'm laying there. Check this out. I'm gonna rewind a little bit. When I was on drugs and my parents, I had a dream one night. I had a dream that a snake came into my room, wrapped me completely, and I just woke up. And I knew there was a snake somewhere in the room. I woke up my friend. I had the snake dream a second time in that home.
Oof.
The snake came in, wrapped me up, and it was slithering the back of my neck. I felt the... And I remember... Then I was scared. This time I was like, I'm going to grab this. Like, I'm just over it, dog. Spiritually, everything. I'm like, what's cracking? Like, I just tried to reach over. I turned on the lights. All the men were like, what's going on? I was like, I didn't want to say it. There's a snake in it. But I was like, in my head, I'm like, there's a snake in it. And now we're in the woods, so it's really here. I'm thinking. But I believe that was, it's behind me, dog.
Right.
It's behind me now. Like, it's done. It's almost done. Like, that's the way I looked at it. Like, man, you know what? It ain't got me no more.
Did you get it? Did you have an encounter with Christ there?
I did. I remember I went to church. I went up to the altar, and it's almost as if God was... I remember Pastor Carlos Garcia. He said, little Carlos, come here. And I walked up to the altar, and he stopped me at the front row. And he said, Carlos, take one step forward, and callus is going to be broken from your heart. I said, all right. I took a step, and I felt something. It's like fall.
Ooh.
And I was like, what was that? This is new to me, you know? But I believe God needed me to feel, because I was that so lit and gone. Like, I need to tap into this kid, and I need him to feel these things physically, you know? He said, take one more step. callus is going to be removed. So I'm like,
you knew right there.
God, like something's cracking.
Yeah.
If there's any first encounter, that was it. Like everything else was all demonic, but this is the first, like, something's gone. Something
breaking.
And I remember the third step, and he prayed with me. I cried. I broke down like a baby, dog, and that was my first encounter. So I started going to morning prayers with a guy by the name of David, old school David. I don't know if you know David. Barbosa. I know David. So David Barbosa was my leader in the home. Slept there with us, kicked it with us. Hey, Carlos. The way he talks out deep, boy. Prayer, bro. Stand up, though. Not on your... Because I fall asleep sometimes.
Right.
Like, walk. He was just teaching me how to pray, how to get a hold of God. And it went from, like, sleeping to, like, really getting into prayer. Hearing pastors' kids in LA's names. Praying for people that I didn't even know. Why am I praying for them, God? I'm just going to pray for them. Cool. Like, it was getting trippy, bro. It was getting real trippy. And I do remember that the second major encounter was Abraham Padilla. He came to do a revival. I was like, I know this dude. This dude's from our town. Cool. He says, anybody want to be filled with the Holy Spirit, come up to the altar and you're going to be filled. I said, man, let's go. I want to try this. So I'm at the altar with my hands up, and there's a rack of us, dog, just chilling. And he's going through the people. Bam, bam. And he's going through the people praying. He's getting closer, and he says, just say la, 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 la. Just say la, la. Just, it's going to come. It's going to come. So I'm like, there, like, la, 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 la. And I'm looking. I'm like, la, la, la. And then he gets to me, and he puts his hand on me, and the Holy Spirit, my tongues, for the first time, my tongues hit. But at the same time, I grabbed his hand. Quick. Boom. I grabbed his hand, and I shoved him away, and I ran back. I manifested for the first time that I can remember at that altar. Because the Bible talks about the Spirit of the Lord cannot dwell in the same place.
Right.
I had some stuff in me. As that Holy Spirit, I felt that little do-do-do-do. And I just snapped. I grabbed him. He wouldn't let me go. That fool just, Abraham, that fool just grabbed me and bam, started praying. And Carlos Garcia tackled me because I was trying to run out the side. And boom, I just broke down and cried because I didn't know what I felt.
So there was some stuff still.
Oh, there was some stuff
lingering
deep up in it, dog. There was some stuff in me, and everybody, like I share in my testimony on IG at times, like everyone thought, "Little Carlos is going to KC for drug causes or drug addiction."
At that point, drugs was the least of your problems, right?
Dog, that wasn't the thing, dog. God knew what he was doing, bro. Right. Like one Sunday morning as I was doing better, bro, and I understood, like, God loves me. I'm praying. I'm trying, dog. I'm freaking trying, bro. I walk up to Sunday morning service, and I see the dude that molested me. And a lot of people don't know about me being molested until right before I flew to Kansas. I told my parents.
Hold on with that. I know you came out recently, and you talked about that on your IG.
Yeah.
I think it was a powerful thing because right now, it's big. Save the children. Pedophilia.
That pushed me, dog, to even speak on it.
Children just being abused, being kidnapped. Women being sex slaves, different things. There's a lot going on in the world right now. It's always went on, but now it's being exposed, and I think it took a lot for you to come out and say that. And it meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, it was
how hard
flooded in the DMs and responses.
How hard was that for you? Was it hard or was it easy at that point? Because I know when you share stuff, when I share stuff, you share stuff, whoever shares something, it's almost like a releasing, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm gonna release this because I know that it's gonna help somebody else, and in the process of that, it helps you too.
Yeah. You got to remember, I went when I came back, 2007, I started preaching a lot. Out the gate, dog. They started booking me, boom, 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 boom. So I would speak and preach,
share your testimony,
share my testimony, and man, I was so broken, bro. First couple of times sharing that, I couldn't speak. It hurt, and as time goes on, it's like I see the positive that it did in so many kids' life. Where I'm like, almost like if I exercised it a bit, to now I can like it ain't tripping right now.
Right.
Like it ain't oh hey, don't say nothing. Nah, speak on it. It don't matter around who. Like because I know the effect of how many people hit me up after a service or on a post or on a this or on a that. Just like I'm blown away, bro.
So when you shared that, you knew the power of the testimony.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what the word says, right? The power of the testimony.
It's like the cross and teardrop on my logo.
Right. It's just the power of the testimony. It tells
testimony.
And it goes further than we think. You know, it goes. It pierces the heart, and God uses it. I was when you came out, you said that. You shared that story. I know there was a great response. I saw all the responses on it. There's a lot of people that have gotten hurt in church. But I know you talked about you went to Kansas City. What happened when you went to Kansas City?
So what's a trip is that
you're getting delivered.
So things are taking place already.
You're getting delivered. You're getting off drugs.
I could say God's like just chiseling things.
And
like
what happened?
Blah, blah. And then it hits me. I think God prepared me for that.
Built you up a little bit.
I think if I would have came out the gate,
it would have been all bad.
And seen him, I wouldn't have went and looked for direction. It would have been like on and cracking because in my heart I've always said, I'm gonna get this dude. I'm gonna get this, and I told nobody.
So just so everybody knows out there, you're in Kansas City. You're getting your life straight. You run into the guy from a church over here that molested you when you were a little kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I walk up to church, and I see him. And
did it hit you?
I couldn't believe I seen him. And I couldn't believe I remembered him. But everything that I thought for so long, because I never brought it out, I thought I was lying. I made it up. I'm like, sure, it all became clear. Right.
How old were you?
I couldn't even tell you, bro. I have a bad memory of being a child.
You didn't want to remember.
And I think it was because of that. So the day you sent me that video of me running around, I love that clip because I was like,
so that was prior to that. You were
like
still a happy little kid, just
like damn,
running around.
Our parents didn't have camcorders
with the silver tooth.
Yeah, silver teeth and all. No, I'm still blinging to this day. Yeah, so when I seen him, I was like, man, I didn't even hit up Cali or nobody. I just went directly to this fool. He was on the right side of the door.
Were you processing it as you're walking up to him, or are you just kind of did you know what you were going to do? Or
you know what?
You just wanted to go up to him?
I take that back right now. I saw him, and I went to Cali. Now that I think about it, you know what? I saw him.
Cali's the pastor.
I went to his office. It was downstairs. I went downstairs. I went down there and said, Kelly, that fool's here. Blah, 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 blah. This is what happened. Blah, blah, blah. Laid it all out for him. You know what he told me? You got to forgive him. I was like, forgive him? What are you talking about? Like, he didn't tell me, oh, I love you, Carlos. Go get that dude. Let's go. He said, you need to forgive him. There's something that you need to unlock yourself.
So a guy that's dealing with anger his whole life, and here's a guy that molested you, man. And you have to forgive him.
I didn't get it. I sat down like this in his office, and he was right there like, forgive him. Freaking stupid. Forgive him. But I knew that Holy Spirit was at work as well. Remember, I wasn't delivered yet. I still had some things lingering in me, and I was learning some principles of life and spiritual stuff. And I'm just like,
I mean, you're still new,
freaking torn, bro.
This is new. You're living well, but and this comes and hits you.
I was at a place too where I was like, I want to see what God could do.
How long were you in KC before you ran into him?
6 months, maybe.
Oh, so you were like,
and I think 7th month I got kicked out.
So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So 6 months.
6
you're doing
months,
good.
5 months, just on it, bro. I was even thinking, how am I going to get my son out here? This is where I'm going to live. I'm going to do this for the kingdom. I'm going to do that. I was ready. This is where I'm going to be. And then bam, that hit me. And I remember walking upstairs after service. That's what it was. After service, he was I watched him, and I went up to him. I said, "Hey, you remember me, right? You remember me, Daniel?" And he's all like, "No." I was like, "Yeah, I got a little angry." I said, "Yeah, you remember me. I forgive you." And he smirked. Like, I said, I forgive you, dog. I walked away. I had to walk away. I just needed to say, I forgive you. Because he wasn't having it.
Because he knew.
He wasn't having it. He wasn't accepting it. He was messing with me at that time because I was still questioning, did he not do? Even when I came back to LA, I was like, did I make this up? Until I had a talk with my little sister, and she said he called me into the bathroom once too, and I didn't go. And that's when that flare came back. Like, oh, this fool's, he needs to get socked up.
So, was that part of the suppression there? Did you suppress those feelings all the way deep inside?
Oh,
to where
yeah.
You almost think that it didn't happen to you.
Yeah, because I didn't tell nobody, Dave. I told nobody.
And at this time, you're what?
26, 25.
Your parents didn't know?
My parents knew. Before I left, I just told them.
You told them?
Mm-hmm. And that's it. And
what was their reaction?
Blown away. They were blown away. They just didn't get it. Like damn.
They believed you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But it also helped a lot of people understand, this is why.
Do you think that was why?
He's popping. I think so.
The anger?
I think so.
Not the drugs.
Because I honestly believe that I could have probably gotten through that thing with my parents, but I had this.
It just added to it.
Mounted. That was it right there. Then you add this, my mom and my dad, and then you add the spiritual realm of things.
And the drugs.
And the drugs and all. It's, yeah. So I remember, told him I forgave him. I left. I remember I left, and he left too. I didn't see him again, and that anger was still there. I started getting in fights in the men's home. The last fight I got into, this guy beat me up. It was a black dude. He beat me up, toe to toe. I got socked up, and I remember ran to my room, and I found the knife, and I chased him up the church. There was a hill that Pastor Cali had. I chased him up that church. I remember running. He ran into the church. I ran through the pews. I'm running with the blade like, I'm going to freaking stick this dude. I'm done. And I remember Pastor Carlos's wife, yelled, Carlos. And it reminded me of my mom. And I turned around, and she was right there, and I just dropped the knife. But they couldn't do nothing about it. The cops were called. I ran the Jesse's pad because he lived actually outside the home now. He had some privileges. And I remember the cops were outside his house. I said, Jay, I don't know what to do. I don't want to go to jail. I called my dad. They flew me out. They flew me back to LA.
That was it.
And that's when it was like, I was ready to. My dad said, you need to serve God again or you're gone. And I was at already a place where it was already rolling, bro. God was already doing something already. So I said, you know what? I'm down. I'm going to go to church. I want to go. But I know what's a trip, Dave, is that I could never stay inside service during worship. When worship began during this time, I'd go outside. Because I was kind of wanting to still do the street stuff after that KC thing, but I was like, damn, I got to stay here for my dad. So I would go outside. When worship is over, I go back in. The presence can't mesh, bro.
Right.
So that now looking back, I think, man.
So there was just still something.
I had some stuff up in me. Every time worship started, I'm out.
Do you think that was the anger?
Oh, yeah.
Just all the anger.
Out of everything, it was anger. It was a rage. It was just.
Because I remember. I think I told you about this. I think you were with. Were you married with Deanna already? We'll talk about.
You're talking about the stuff that happened outside the church.
Yeah.
With homeboy's wife.
No. Yeah. So I remember, I was at church. My wife went outside. I think your wife Deanna now was crying.
Oh, yeah. She was like 1 year, 2 years married.
Yeah.
And she was a poor girl.
Melissa comes, gets me.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, okay. I go out there. You're going off on somebody's wife.
Yeah.
Right? You're saying all kinds of craziness because she's trying to stop you from arguing with your wife.
And the reason why
So I walk out there and I'm like, oh, this dude's hot.
Yeah.
This dude's hot. I'm like, I look at Melissa. I tell Melissa, did he tell you anything? And she's like, no. And then I go out there and you're like, hey, Dave, cool Melissa, but this lady right here. Right here.
No, because I was at a place,
like,
Dave.
Cool, because I was like, you was hot. And I was like, oh, I hope it doesn't come to that.
I'm still at the same place where if we have a relationship, come and give that correction.
Right.
But if we don't come into my life trying to speak all this like, come on,
I always say one of my favorite sayings is rules without relationship cause rebellion.
Can't.
Because I can come to you and give you all these rules, right? But we don't have no relationship. You're not going to respect it. Yeah. But if you know you can trust me and there's a relationship and we build a 100%, trust, 100%. And if I come to you and say, hey, man, this is not cool, this is not right, then you're going to say, all right, man, I'm going to listen, right?
I've always let people know that if there's any time where I was freaking just out of it, hot, going, you can come up to me.
Yeah.
You can come, like, don't trip. Like,
yeah.
I respect you.
So I wonder all the dudes that you punched from church.
They were lying and they were taking stuff from me.
I don't know, not one. I remember one guy who was pretty mellow. We'll talk about him after, but I think.
Yeah. No. He said something so dumb at the wrong time. Okay. That guy, but whatever.
All right. So I was thinking about that guy the other day, but I remember when he punched him, and then I was like, what the heck? This guy's fighting everybody. So you get right with the Lord.
Yeah.
You're trying to serve God.
I start getting right with God. I met my wife.
So this hold on. So
it's getting hot now.
Yeah. So your wife. Yeah. Your wife is an angel, man, to be with you because she's not wild.
No.
She's very calm.
Yeah.
Her demeanor is just really mellow. So when she got with you, I was like, poor girl.
Trust me, everybody told her, hey, what are you doing with that dude?
Yeah, this young pretty girl is with Carlos. I'm like, ay.
She went through hell. She's my ace, man. I got to give it to D. She went through hell.
Because you were still going through stuff?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Okay, what was it?
Here's the thing. If you want to keep going, we'll get to these parts.
Okay.
But again, D was there at the church. I came back. I had my kid. I had D. Those two will keep me.
Wait,
around.
How did you guys get together, though?
Well, I seen her in the back doing the sound in the soundboard.
Yeah, but I mean,
but she wanted me.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Why would she want you?
I walked in there like blam, and then and I had a shot with the girl.
She's like Bad Boys then.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, we're gonna have to bring her on the show.
So yeah, I told we were talking. We started meeting up together. Her parents hated me, and she still meet up with me. And man, she kept me around, and she got down for me, definitely 100. And I remember I messed up on her when we were dating with some little floozy. And she caught wind of it. And I was like, I lost my girl. I remember I seen her at a conference with some dude from church, that guy. Ooh. And she had her hands lifted up at the altar. I was like, man, Jesus is involved. It's over, dog. This is like done. But she came back. So she came back, and she came back after I gave my life to God. So I would go to these conferences.
Okay, so you gave your life to God again?
Again. So I went to KC.
What was going on then between the KC return?
So I came back to LA wanting to do right, but there was just still something, dog. So I started not using meth, but I started drinking.
Okay.
I started drinking. And to me, at that time, I was like, it's just beer, dog. This ain't crystal meth. This is just beer. So I'm
gonna be honest, bro. The average person probably gave up on you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
100%.
100%. That's a lot of time invested, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of hopes. Like, okay, this time he's right.
Yeah.
And then you come back, you're still. What drove you, though, to the bottle?
I don't know, dog. Be honest with you.
Were you too scared now to touch meth? So you're like, let me get something close.
Point, you got to remember, all the guys I grew up with weren't saved yet. And if they were, they're in Kansas City. So I came back to, like, who? All I got is all these youngsters my wife's age. If you're older than me, damn, they got wives, and they're like,
right.
Who am I going to kick it with?
I think that's the biggest thing, man, is you got to have some people in your life.
I had no community.
Yeah, you have nothing.
So check it. I met D. I met her circle. Little Digger, little Para Boys. All these fools are like younger cats, bro.
Totally. Yeah. And they're all totally different.
So I'm walking up all tatted up, freaking ex-drug addict, like Joey Naranjo, Anthony Espinosa, all these youngsters, you know?
Right.
So I'm like kicking it, you know, cool. I started drinking, doing my thing, and now I got these little saved dudes. They were saved at one point, and I think they're saved now, but there was a time when these fools were hot. The Greenhouse, I think it was called.
Right.
Randy Emerson, all buff, slaying people. So they had the Greenhouse, and they said, yo, come to the Greenhouse. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go. I started drinking. I got so drunk, I couldn't find the house. I was like, hey, where's your house at? Like, they had to come find me, park my car. Joseph Macias parked my car, and I got out, and they said, come inside, let's pray for you. Mondo Calvary was there. Dude, so I walk in the pad, and I walked into an altar call. Altar call in a house is like anywhere. It's in the living room.
No altar.
So I'm kicking it. and I'm loaded, and Digga's there praying for people, and then he walks up to me, and then he went to pray for my stomach, and a knot just balled up a knot, and I grabbed his hand again. Boom! I broke down like a baby, Dave, a baby. I went out back. The guys followed me, said, "Let us pray with you. This is where it starts getting real." I said, "What is?" Like I told you at the with the snake at the whatever, the vision of that or whatever. I got to a place where, what is this? Let's see what this is.
So you never.
I never addressed it.
Yeah.
I never said, what is this?
Every time,
I need deliverance?
Yeah.
Do I need, they said, let us pray with you. I said, cool, let's go. I remember I had a jacket on. They took me into a room like this. Randy Emerson, Digga, maybe two other dudes, and Digga began to pray for me.
So for those that don't know Digga, David Hernandez, young guy, he's very gifted. He in the spirit. The Lord has used him many times to speak to people. He has a huge ministry now. This time he was just coming up.
Oh, he was young buck, bro.
Yeah.
So he starts praying for me, and I flip on Digga. Like I had a knife on me. So I tried to grab I think they knew.
And Digga back in those days was like $110.
So he was a little dude.
Kid.
So Randy Emerson grabbed my back. Two dudes had each of these hands and my freaking feet where I couldn't move, and I started spitting on Digga. Boom, I remember that, and it blew my mind because Digga said, "Carlos, don't worry about that. I love you." And I was like, it was weird. It was like demon / I'm there too, but that love and compassion was blowing away. It was blowing my mind, bro. I was just like, what?
Isn't that a trip? Isn't that a trip? Here is the enemy attacking your life, just manifesting.
Bad.
And here's a little guy, probably with his famous cardigan on. 110 pounds. He's probably only like 18, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? And he's fighting.
And he's right there just like
demons.
I don't know everything that day, but I do know he said I wanted to cut him up. I was saying things about murder. I was saying different things. I don't remember. So that was a blur. Hours later, it's 3 a.m. I'm tired. I'm just freaking fatigued, bro. I want to go home. And Digga said, "Yo, meet me on this day. Meet me on this day. We're gonna seal this deal." So
he
already knows what's cracking.
He's getting ready.
Oh, he knows. He knows. Me, I don't know. He just said, "Carlos, do not be on drugs." Don't trip. So this was the week of Harvesters at Knott's. Friday night comes. Saturday's the D-Day.
So Harvesters is a conference.
It's a conference. Right. So everybody's there, blah, 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 blah. I'm doing good. I was loaded all week. I got in a wreck that day or that week too. But I seen Digga on Friday. He said, "Carlos, don't be on drugs. I'll see you tomorrow."
Did you know what you were in for?
No.
Okay.
I didn't. And then guess who I run into? An old friend, Willie. So my boy Willie gets out of jail that day. Says, "Carlos, go get some dope. Let's go." So I jump in the car. I'm not going to do it, though, dog, because I'm clean now.
Sure.
And I'm all driving them. I remember we jump over a gate, get the stuff, go to this pad. I got loaded, Dave. I was like, hey, my friend, let's do it together. It's not that bad.
Wow.
Know? So we get loaded. The next day comes. I'm like, man, I shouldn't have got loaded. It keeps ringing in my head. Digga told me, don't go with this guy. Don't go. I went. So I went to Paramount Church to meet Digga, and I was pacing in the parking lot hours because I couldn't stay with worship. I told you, I walk out and I'm sitting in the parking lot. I said, man, I should leave. This is stupid. Like, I don't need to be here. And Digga walked out from his service. If people know his encounter stuff, yeah, it was an encounter service. Right. He walked out
to come get you.
"Carlos, don't leave. Do not leave." And walked back in. I was like, man, he made me feel like, damn.
You're obligated.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, she whiz, all right. And then it was over. Service was over. I remember he said, "I'm ready." And I remember, I think it was Renee Hernandez, or Renee's little sister. Desiree. She said, "Carlos, are you ready?" She's like, "I'm so tired of these demons jacking you around." I said, "Yeah, I'm
Were you ready right there, bro?
Yeah, I was done. I was at a place where, like, let's see what's going to happen,
Yeah.
I went into the room. I remember Digga was in front of me with two dudes. He was, like, mentoring. And Digga snapped his finger. He said, "Manifest." And he just snapped. And I was like, exactly what I just did. Like, manifest. He said, "Manifest yourself." He did it again. Snap. And that ball that I felt when he first prayed came up to my stomach, up to my throat, and it was right here. And my laugh, like, I remember it sounded deep, and I knew it was on and cracking. After that, I rushed homeboy, just like the first time. I got him. I had him against the wall, and his digger.
Oh, you got Digga.
Oh, I had him against the wall. I had him against the wall, and his two guys grabbed me. And you know, when I was growing up, I'd hear if demons begin to manifest and all that, you need to get out the room if you're not right with God. Or they even sense like fear. I felt the fear in these guys' hands. It was so weird, Dave, if you can walk along this with me. So instead of going to Digga, I started addressing these dudes. They're kind of like, but Digga, right when I captured these guys, like, I'm going to feed off these guys' fear. Like, Digga said, get back, and my body had to listen. Like, I couldn't, I released them, I walked back, and I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I even listening?
At this point, you're not in control of anything.
Oh, I'm not.
But you're conscious of what's going on.
Digga even said, yo, you know a lot. Like, a lot of people don't remember all that. I said, yeah, everything he said, I needed to do. My body submitted to it. Now, when he said, angels of the Lord come down, I didn't see them. But when he grabbed his Bible and he said, begin to strike him, and he went like this, far from my stomach, I felt the swords in here, out here, and I was like I was getting stuck.
Whoa.
Boom, boom. It was hitting, and I fell on the chair. I went all the way back and I hit a chair, and I fell. I'm just blown away at this point. I'm like, what the heck is going on, you know? And he began to talk about my son, and that's what got me. He says, your son needs you, your son. He just started hitting on my son, and I remember that, and it allowed me to focus. And he asked if I would like to receive Jesus, you know, as my Lord and Savior. And I said, yes. I said a prayer, and as I sat there, all this lifted up. Oh, I felt so light. Heavy, heavy stones just lifted up. I've never felt that light before. And he says, now you will be filled with the Holy Spirit. Your vessel needs to be filled. And he says, begin to speak in tongues. I spoke in tongues.
So you never got filled with the Spirit?
Mm-mm.
It was just...
I spoke in tongues, and it was over.
Done.
Over. Done. I don't care who you are, 20, 30, 40 years from now, if they would have said in the name of Buddha, this person, Mary, whoever, gun ho, I'll worship them forever. But he said in the name of Jesus. And to me, that means a lot. And I will never turn my back on God. I haven't since. I haven't since. And I remember he said, how do you feel? And my words were, I've wasted a lot of time. I said, I got to double up. Like, it's time. Like, I just know I got to double up. It's been so long. Like you said, how many people would have gave up on you already? I knew in my heart, in a sober, clear mind, now filled with the Holy Spirit, it's time to double up.
Right.
Like, it's no more time to play. We just got to get it. Get what? I don't even know. All I said was, I need you guys to kick with me. I'll buy pizza or something. My parents will buy it. You know, I even called them, like, this is what happened. They were excited. Everybody in that place or that room, like a carload, said, we'll go to your house, kick it. I just wanted to be around a believer.
Right.
And trip out on this, Dave. As I leave the freeway, 105 Paramount, jump on, boom. We jump on the freeway, a girl commits suicide. Off the bridge. If you look up 2007, February, March, you'll probably see her name. I've done it before. Because we stopped, and I saw her body in a nightgown, like her leg was twisted, and when we left to my house, and I always wondered why, on the best day of my life, I saw this woman do that. And all I can think about is the day when, in the Bible, it talks about that demon-possessed man, where he says he gets the demons out. They said, throw me into the swines. And what the swines do, jump off the bridge or jump off the cliff. So I have a feeling that suicidal spirit that was in me was like telling me.
Or at least it gave you a visual that could have been you.
Or that, you know, I don't even have an answer. I just know that took place.
Wild, man.
Really wild.
So you've been a believer ever since that day?
Oh, ever since that day. I never stopped. I mean, I may have had hiccups. I may have popped off. But I'm learning. I need to put this little anger problem into submission, or I'm slacking off in prayer, I'm slacking off in reader, you know?
Right.
Is it possession? No more. That ain't happening.
You're delivered.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Some people may say, yeah, that dude probably got demons in him still, but I don't. I know 100% I don't, because I would have laid out a couple more heads. But I know that I'm at a place, too, where I need to hold myself accountable for my actions as a man. And I'm barely...
So you have more at risk now.
Oh, yeah,
right?
bro. Yeah. Even one of my homies, Chi, UTI, Chi, good friend of mine. I went to Deer Eyes, and I was kicking back with him, and I said, and he would talk to me about my my life and where I'm at. I said, Chi, I just don't ever want to blow it, Chi. I don't want to blow it in anger and throw down or do something stupid.
Cost so much.
My testimony. We ain't talking about church. You keep your church. I'm talking about people outside the church where it really freaking, to me, that's where it's really like you blow that, dog. I told him I just don't ever want to blow my testimony to these people important to me as far. And he says, but wait, but you wouldn't, right? I said, I just got angry. He's like, nah, because you're not about that. You're not about that no more. Like, and man, this guy he ain't even a leader in the church, but he's like schooling me, like, you know what? You're right. That's not about that.
Yeah, you're not that person. No,
yeah. I'm thank God for some of these men that I've met outside of the church that are in my life now. Man, they're a blessing, dude. 100%.
What did you think at any point in time during that 10-year span of just rebelling that you'd live the life you're living now?
No way, doggy.
Because I remember you in those days, and it wasn't a good thing.
And here's the thing: after I gave my life to God, I married Dee. And again, I wasn't like sinless. We slept around. She got pregnant. A lot of people think when you're like good with God, you're good. 100. No, I was still flawing, messing up, but I was still going towards the prize. We got married, and here's to any single men, women, whatever you want to call it. If you got anger issues and you don't deal with it, like you said, get some counseling with certain. If you don't deal with those things, you're gonna bring it into your marriage. I still had little issues that I still needed time to heal and get delivered from, but I brought it into my marriage. So now here I am, not going off on drugs or drinking it, but now I'm verbally abusing my wife.
You're hurting the person that loves you the most.
Now I'm like lashing out, like, what the heck? So God began to steal. D went through hell, bro. D went through hell for about 5 years, man, 4 years. I could say these last probably 3.
Were you just learning?
I just didn't know how to talk. I was a kid still.
I think
I
a lot
know how to talk.
That's the hardest thing, man, is we're not taught a lot of things sometimes.
No. My dad and me, we never talked.
And then we're prideful to ask for help, right?
Yeah.
Are embarrassed. It could be a lot of things.
It's none of your business.
Yeah, like none of your business. We're fine. Leave me alone. None of your business, right? I'm not going to tell this dude.
Or like we feel we're the only ones that went through it.
I remember being really prideful when I was younger. I remember arguing with Melissa at church of all places. Right? Let's leave. We're leaving. I'm sure you've done that a couple times, right? So we leave. Get in the car. Let's go. We're leaving. And I look in the rear view, and I see Albert and Patty.
Okay.
Right? And Albert and Patty, I didn't know them that well.
Good
right?
people.
Good people. Great people, right? Yeah. I didn't know them. Melissa knew them. I pull up. We lived in Downey back then. Pull up. I'm like, great, man. He pulls up right behind me. Melissa starts crying. I'm like, what are you crying for? Gets out the car. She runs to Patty, I don't know Albert, right?
Yeah.
I don't know Albert. I know him, but I don't know him like that.
Yeah.
What's wrong, bro? What's going on? Nothing, man. Just a little stupid fight. Nah, bro, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
Nothing. Melissa, pouring it all out, you know?
Yeah, it's always the women that are going to throw it all out there.
I'm like, man, why are you going to tell this guy?
Yeah.
But Albert became my friend.
Yeah.
And was a vital, vital part of me and Melissa's marriage when we were young, him and Patty. I mean, we talked about people speaking into your life and allow he became my friend. I allowed him to speak into my life, man. And he touched my life, man, because without them, those first 5 years is tough for us.
Oh yeah.
And when we became 10 years married, I called them. Hey Albert, I just want to tell you I've been married 10 years, man. I just want to thank you and Patty. I think when we were like 20 years, I left a message for him. Hey, we've been married. I think 15 years I called him too. 15 years, bro, we've been married. Thanks.
Wow.
And there was a span where
that's cool.
we didn't talk because we were a little bit, not distant in a bad way, but just life, you know?
Yeah.
20 years, called him. 25 years,
Wow.
called him. And Albert, you know, he's not doing good right now. He's sick and stuff and losing his eyesight. But I called him and I said, hey, listen, I want to thank you guys, man. I left a message for Patty too on Instagram. Without you guys, we wouldn't have made it. Yeah. Like you mean so much to us. I'm grateful for that. But it never would have happened if you don't allow somebody to speak into your life, to be a little bit vulnerable. I think that's what I always respected about you, because even though you had things going on, you always were really, really, really vulnerable.
Yeah.
And open to.
I got a big heart.
Yeah. And
a lot of people don't understand. I got a really big heart. Yeah, I have a chip at times, but that's the key, man.
Because I think the vulnerability is key to getting better at anything, right? I got an issue. Yeah. I got a problem.
And understand everyone isn't perfect.
Yeah, I'm not a good husband. How do I be a good husband? I think that was always your thing. Like, okay, I messed up. I'm gonna have to learn, and be a father. I have to learn how to be a father. I congratulate you, man, and think that's an honorable thing that you've always been that way, always striving to get better. Because I think a lot of dudes would have gave up. I mean, just the stuff you told me right now, I'm thinking in my head like, gee, dude, give me a break.
White hair is all over here.
Yeah, I'm thinking in my head like, yeah. I mean, I knew you. There was times when I talked to you, but I didn't know it was that to that extent.
A lot of people don't.
No, life's pretty good now.
Now
right?
It's like, dude, everything we've gone through makes sense. Whether it's marriage, whether it's using, whether it's being brought up in church, family, like all these things that I've gone through, I can relate to a lot of people, dog. Like straight up, like I mesh with people very well. There's somewhere down the line of their life where I'm like, yo, I get where you're coming from.
Right.
Like I get it, and now I understand. Damn, I went through all that for a reason, bro. Like definitely, and I remember when I moved to the high desert. A lot of people don't know I'm even out there, but I didn't want to go out there. And I remember went to Walmart, and I even told God, if you can still use me, God, like use me. Simple prayer. It wasn't deep. Wasn't an hour. It was just pushing a cart. Walmart. God, if you can use me, man, still use me.
Right.
And He has. You know.
I think the Lord has used you through your testimony, and through Srvntz.
Yeah.
So you got your clothing brand, your line. I mean, you guys do everything. But tell me a little bit about Srvntz.
So
man.
Srvntz,
I know about it, but the
goes
people out there
hand
don't
in
know.
hand with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. The one who planted, like you started what? Save your brand what? 07, 08?
7. Yeah.
Okay, you started your brand. You got down with your brand. Out the gate, you were hitting hard. I never thought about starting a brand. I was like, nah, until there was this actor dude that started going to the church I was attending, and he started a brand. So I was like, yo, I'm going to support, buy a t-shirt. And then I was wearing it during church, and a guy behind me said something about gangster, this and this. And I was like, I felt dumb because like, I ain't no gangster. Like, I was like, maybe I should try something myself, you know?
Right.
Cool. So I was like looking through a pamphlet that they give you every Sunday mornings, and they said different names of God. And one of them was Servant. I was like, oh, this is cool. So I looked it up, Srvntz, and it was like corny little, sorry, thing I looked up, and I hit you up. I was in Pico Rivera swap meet. I don't know, Pico Rivera parking lot of Food for Less. I was like, Dave, I got this idea, bro. Servants of God. And you're all, try this. SRVNTZ. And I have it in my Bible till this day, that same Bible on my pad. And I ran with it from there. I ran with Srvntz from there. And I didn't think it was going to be where it's at now. I'm actually swallowing the pill of like, we got something going on, Doug.
Yeah.
There's something, like, it took me a minute to tell myself, hey, there's something here, because I was like, it's just a brand. Like when I moved out of LA area and I started printing out of my garage, even my dad was like, you got to get a job. So I still kind of thought, this is a little hobby thing. This isn't nothing.
Right.
But I stuck with it, dog. And then that's when Japan came. And that's when Thailand's buying now. That's when OC stores are buying. LA County store. I'm like, whoa, this is starting to pop off. Like, this is cool. So I'm just taking it a lot more serious now. The last 3 years, I think. Even more the last couple months, I'm like, okay, I'm planning now. Like,
right.
drops with this dude, that dude. And God's just opening up doors to beautiful friendships. If I can put it all in, there's a community of people that have embraced me.
Right.
And they're as close as the dudes I grew up with. Straight up. Like, I'll throw blows side by side with you if anybody runs up. I do the same with them. Like, 100%. Because they're that close to me. These are like my brothers, bro. And some people are like, oh, yeah, you just met these dudes, like dudes I grew up with. But you don't understand. They're important to me as much as you are to me,
right?
You know, and I thank God for these doors that were opened up because I was church hurt for a minute. I'm gonna be honest with you, over the politics, over. I don't want to dig too deep into it, you know, but I was just over that, dude, like clockwork. I've been in church all my life. You want to talk about pastoring? I was folding chairs at 9 years old. My dad was pioneering. I like Digga talk about flipping songs and serving. Like, I did that too. I just got to a place where I'm burnt out, bro, and I needed something new, something fresh.
Was serving something new for you? Just a new way to let people know about
it was something
Jesus?
Fun in the beginning.
Right.
It was something fun.
So I know when I did my brand, I was like, I had a band. We would go play.
See, you started something.
I would make some shirts, and then I'd take them, and I'd sell them. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Not bad.
You started something amazing, dog. You were, like I said in a conversation, Save Your Brand was a trailblazer. Yeah. Out the gate, dog. You basically laid out a blueprint for everyone, including myself and any other brands that are going to start in the next couple months or years. You're the forehead, bro. Because you went into an area that none of us knew what to do. That's why we mimicked you so much in the beginning where we have like little hiccups because all I knew was pastor, evangelist, this Bible study leader. That's it. Not a brand where you could touch someone's life.
I think that's a great point, and I feel you on that because
100%.
I appreciate you saying that, but I feel you on that because I always felt I had to fit into a certain mold.
Yeah.
And the mold was either being a preacher, which I like to preach. I like to evangelize.
I do too.
I like to go and get in the word. But I think when I created the brand was an outlet for me. I mean, it was something fun, but also I was able to share Christ through it. And I said, this is a great avenue. This is an avenue I understand, whether it be art and tattoos, the street gospel, whatever it may be. I felt like this is something that I love to do.
You opened up a door to a
let me use this. And once I have the art and all this stuff, and I see a lot of these stickers, and I see these guys that when I was a teenager that I admired. I remember Cab, or I remember this guy, Slick, or whoever. And then I made these connections with these guys, and then I was able to shed some light about who Christ really is. That made me feel good. And I know people say, oh, you feel good about that. Yeah, I did feel good about that because I felt like I was making an impact.
Yeah. And
that's what I really wanted to do. Save Your Brand, I never intended for me to blow up or have to quit my day job. I mean, you went way above and beyond that. But I was like, this is something that I like to do.
Yeah.
And this is something that I can share the gospel and tell people that God loves them. And I think you were the same way. You talked about friendships, and I know we've been friends for a long time, and I wanted to talk about a little bit because I think it's important. Yeah. We kind of ran through everything. We talked about growing up in church. We talked about falling away from church, drugs, the demonic forces that are against you, and you being delivered, how you're constantly just trying to work towards something good. But we had talked recently about our friendship. And we were friends for a long time. And like I said, you never disrespected me or anything like that. But I know that the brands became a little competitive at one point. We kind of, and I didn't know how to take it a lot of times and I had a friend tell me this, that the, not the copying, but the similar styles is a compliment, man. Take it as a compliment.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that now.
Yeah, I'm sure you hear it now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't really see it like that all the time. I'd be like, man,
it's exactly what I just shared. You did something no one done before,
and I
it's like I'm gonna follow this dude.
And I didn't take it like that. And then a lot of people, and a lot of people would stir it up. Hey, look at this, copping you.
Oh, they do that to me. They would throw your logo at me at a like.
And I go, what the heck? And I was quiet, and I think we had a little falling out a couple of times, but I remember one falling out we had. It was like on in LA. Was it at a show? Yeah, it was at a show. Yeah. And that was the first time I think we ever had. Like, I honestly thought like, okay, this guy's gonna pop, and then
I was cool.
We're gonna be cool. Well, you were a little hot that day, and I remember you kind of put your finger like this to me, and I was like, "Oh man, this okay."
Armbar.
I was like, "This is gonna be a problem right now. We're gonna be fighting right here in front of everybody." Great, and we kept it cool, but I think it was a lot of tension. Yeah, and we made up, and apologized. I apologized to you. I'll be honest, I was still a little.
I'm on the fence. Yeah.
I was still a little salty about things. I was like, man, come on, bro, do your own thing. Yeah. Come on with your own thing. And I think you, a couple other brands were mad at me because I wasn't giving you guys like your own avenue. Like, okay, I'm trailblazing, and I'm gonna give you guys. I could have been better about that.
Here's something that I can see looking back now. What you were doing was creating friendships with men organically.
Yeah.
You weren't looking for it like, yo, this fool got like 200K. I'm going to be his friend just so I can get a shout out like some dudes do now.
Right.
You were genuinely admiring art. You built some friendships. And to me, I was like a little brother like, dang, that looks dope. I'm going to go kick where Dave's at.
Why don't he connect me with them? I felt that a lot of times,
And that's the sucky part, I think. It was the fact that I didn't understand maybe the originality of things.
Yeah, because
there has to be.
It had to be organic, right?
Yes.
So I was trying to. I didn't know how to express that to you guys because I had a couple other brands and they got upset and hey, how come you don't help us? And I was like, you got to kind of carve your own niche. Like I'm not. And I didn't go looking, like you said, I didn't go looking for those guys.
I get it now.
I didn't go looking for those guys. So I was kind of like, bro, like I met this guy by chance and we just hit it off. Like I'm, I don't know what to tell you. So I think I could have been more helpful on some avenues and maybe a little immaturity on my part to not really say, okay, these are my friends. If they blow up, great, And I think for me, it was like, I'm carving my way. Because a lot of people don't know at that time, it wasn't like today. There's 20 million brands, right? A lot of brands there's just
and to be honest with you, I don't even mess with them. And some of them I know.
Yeah.
But I don't mess with them because I don't believe in you. But I want to see how long you're going to last.
Right.
I don't think people understand just because you start something, it's going to pop off. No, are you going to put the years
it's a lot of
that
work,
you got to put into this?
It's a lot of
work.
And
I ain't trying to knock nobody, but I'm watching you.
Yeah.
It's to be honest with you, if I see you doing things still 3 years,
right,
4 years, then I'm gonna swoop you up.
Yeah, then
straight up.
Then I'm gonna help
straight
you.
up. But I want to see.
Right.
Is this real? Or is this just cool? Because right now everything's cool if you got a bunch of followers. They'll receive a word from a guy with 200K, but not the guy with 5K. Like it's pretty stupid right now.
Right.
Like it's the hype.
Yeah. It's a different thing now. 2007. There wasn't really nothing popping.
Social media wasn't even really popping.
It wasn't. It was nothing. You had some MySpace, and nobody was worried about followers, likes, or anything like that.
MySpace was fun. Camel, MySpace.
Never on it.
Oh, dude, I had a little song playing. Picture slider, top 8 right there.
But yeah, it was. I mean, it was a different time. But we made up, and you called me. We talked it out. For I think the third time. But I think this last time I felt like I was more prepared, and then I felt that it was more genuine. I really did. I felt like it was genuine, and
I know that our conversations definitely have changed in depth, subjects.
Yeah, I felt it wasn't just about the brand anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I don't think it was other. I didn't feel that way. Like I mean, I wasn't following you. I wasn't paying attention. And then I go to your page after we made up, and I'm like, oh shoot, this dude's blowing up everywhere. I didn't realize that, and so I think that was a good thing because then I realized like, okay, this is genuine because he's surpassed anything I've done, and now he's telling me like, hey man, I want to make it right with you.
Yeah, and I want to help out in any way I can. Not saying I'm the guy that's going to do everything, but I learned something good when I went to San Diego. Bobby Tribal, shout out to Tribal Gear. Everyone in his spot are homies. Tattoo, artists, printers, skate shop, blah, all homies. Teen Angel, Baca, all the, like, I looked at it, I left, and I was like, if dudes from the streets could embrace one another, why ain't believers doing that?
Right.
That's sad.
Yeah,
You see a group of believers can't even get along together, and we're over trying to preach, do right.
Yeah.
Jesus is coming. Like, we can't even get along. Like, that showed me I look like a fool. If I can't even lock it up with Dave, I've known for so freaking long, why not we build ours?
Yeah.
And when I say ours, I don't mean particularly like this person, that, but ours as in who gets that vision.
Right.
And if you get it, roll.
Yeah.
If not, I don't have time to waste time right now. In my life right now, I don't have time to waste time. Like let's put our foot forward and make some moves.
Because I'll be honest with you, like the last few years I'm with Savior Brand, I was kind of like, it's cool.
And I told you, don't.
It's cool, and then you kind of fired me up a little bit, and we got back in business, and you helped me out, and I was a little skeptical at first, just old habits, old thoughts, and then I realized like, this is cool, man. This is working out. This is legit. But I think the most important thing was just mending the fence, and realizing there's some history there. I think a lot of people give up on friendships over stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I have friends that I've been friends with that don't want to be my friend over politics or something stupid. I'm like, yo, man, we've been friends for 30 years, and now you're going to trip over a post or over who I vote for or whatever, stupid stuff. And you realize, like, these are lifelong friends, and in the scheme of everything, what matters the most? This is a relationship.
Yeah.
You're going to have disagreements. But let's talk it out. Let's be honest about it, and let's make it right.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate that about you. The brand. I mean, hey, what could I say? It's
good, man.
It's good.
It's going good. It's like, and again, I still don't know all to do. I'm learning, bro. Yeah. It's not like I can call Pastor so-and-so, hey, yo, homie ain't never started a brand. You built the church. Some of them kind of built the church. Yeah. But T-shirts and business and all this other stuff.
Different game.
There's a lot of dudes that don't know the game.
Yeah, there's
business.
A different game.
I ran into a dude as a businessman. He's a believer, and you don't run into too many of these guys. It's like, and they mean business.
Yeah.
there's a difference between discipleship in the church and schooling someone on business. Like,
right. Well, my friend Pastor Chris Santos says, hey, I'm a pastor. I'm a believer.
Exactly. He said even.
Yeah. He goes, but when it comes to business, I'm about business.
Exactly. Some people don't get it, Dave.
I think
they get hurt.
I think that was the problem with you and me and some other brands, because I would be like,
see,
guys,
you tapped into that then way before I
because I was like,
any of us.
I was like, guys, we're not.
That's good.
We're doing a little bit of a ministry. I know we're spreading the gospel through the brand. But I'm trying to.
That's good.
I'm trying to get the brand to fund itself. I don't want to pull money out of my.
It's so funny. It just explained itself right now.
Yeah,
exactly that.
It was something where I'm like, look, you got to figure it out. I can give you some advice. I can help you on some things, but you got to carve out your own lane. And I think once you and once like these other brands started carving out their own lane, you guys started figuring it out. Like, okay, I get it now. And then so you guys, I think that was what helped a lot of us, with a lot of you guys, and with me, myself too, was, okay, I'm getting it now.
And you know what's funny is, now that we're talking about this, I get jobs from different churches, and I have to break that down to some of the churches.
Right.
They give me an iPhone design on an app that they downloaded and say, print this.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, I can't print your application artwork. You need to get Photoshop, or
I got one for you.
Adobe Illustrator, create the design, and if you can't make it, guess what? You gotta pay.
Hey, I got one for you.
Design.
Or when they send you a design, hey bro, print this up, bro, for your brand. And you're like,
this is sick. This is dope.
It's not that good.
No, I'd be saying that's dope, but I just
I know. Like, yeah, it's dope, man. Keep working. Oh, you don't want to print it? I'm not looking for any submissions right now. I don't want to feel bad. It's just I'm trying to build a brand, even with the podcast, right? I'm trying to have a look for the podcast.
Yeah.
be consistent. I let my daughter run it because she gets it.
It's
right?
like a church and the establishment. There's a look and there's a style that they like to go, and they will say no out the gate if it's not in it. So we shouldn't feel that we got to say yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, not
right?
at all.
It's
not
individuality. I'm carving it out. And I think you guys doing great. And I mean, you, Marky, whoever else is doing their brands.
Yeah.
I think you guys are doing great and finally figured out, like, this is my avenue.
It's carving it.
You know, and even with me, I'm like, this is what I'm about. I like to release 1 or 2 shirts here and there. Boom, they sell. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Great. Move on to the next one.
T-shirts, to me, printing and design-wise, it's basically like the shirt is the pulpit.
Yeah.
What message are you trying to relay
It's a great message.
through this, you know?
Yeah.
With a design. And if you're that and you get it, some people will see the design like, what is this? Ask about it.
Right.
Don't critique it.
Right.
Just ask me, hey, why'd you do this? Let me break it down for you. Because I get a lot of people that see stuff, they're like, why is the Virgin Mary on your T-shirt? Or why?
That's not Jesus.
No, because she's a servant of Christ. Right. What did the angel of the Lord say to her when she said, you're going to have the King of Kings? I am your servant. Let your will be done. Done. That's all I got out of that message. People are like, I used to worship her. That's you. That's your deal.
God is a grappler.
See? That's another.
What does that mean, bro?
Yeah.
I said, well, you know that, God, he fights for you.
See,
he
you
grapples for
gotta protect. You gotta protect it, man.
What's up, Kim? Grapple with Jacob too. Yeah, he grappled with Jacob. I told him that he's gonna pop your hip out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, and then like, well, that's not a good shirt to have. I said, well, God's always constantly
it ain't for everyone.
Battling for our soul, right? He's grappling for our soul. You don't get it. Like it's not for you.
Exactly. I've gotten to a place where I don't explain nothing anymore. I've had people walk up to my table, and you always get that one with the Bible in their hand.
Yes.
They're ready to freaking scrap, and I'm like, I'm okay. And I'm nice to them.
Yeah.
And they share, this is wrong. And I say, I'm sorry. This probably is not for you. Before, I'd be like, man, get out of my face. But now I'm like, I want to genuinely share with you that it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like it, pray for me.
Right. I get people all the time tell save your brand, right? And they're like, well, that's not Jesus. I said, okay. You know what I mean? Like they just drew him like that. I said, I know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt my feelings if you come and tear up my sticker in front of my face and say this is not Jesus.
And that's sad.
I understand that. I get it. It's not Jesus. Okay, how do you want him to look? It doesn't matter how he looks. It matters what he did. So he can be black with dreadlocks. Cool. I mean, he's still my savior.
I put artwork sometimes from Chase DeFoya. Shout out to Chase.
Yeah.
Dog, that's not Jesus.
I know.
What do you got that up there for? I'm like, oh my God, it's not that freaking deep, bro. It's not that deep. He's got a tattoo on his face. What? I've seen a pastor once do an outreach in an area where I was at and made a face when they looked at the tattoo shop that I was in. If they would only know that Jesus loves the people in the shop as well.
Right.
Don't make the face and walk away. That's not right.
If you weren't there, who would be there? I'm not saying God wouldn't send somebody else, hopefully.
And I'm not trying to knock the girl or the dude that they did it, but it sucked as a believer.
Right.
As my brother.
Because that's our calling.
Forget the title.
That's our
You're
calling.
my sister. You're my brother in the Lord. You just freaking made a face and walked away from all 8 dudes that are in here.
Right.
Like, that's not.
You might be you're the conduit from their sin to Jesus. Yeah. I'm not saying that you're the savior or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that you're the only connection that they have. You're the only representation. I always say, like, I know people have a misconception a lot of times of Christianity, right? Or Christians in particular, right? And they have this thing in their head. And I said, as long as they know me and who I am and what I'm about, they'll always say, yeah, those Christians over there, man, they're blah, blah, blah. But wait a minute. Dave was a cool dude. I think you have the same idea. Dave was a cool dude, man. He prayed for us, or he spent time with us, or he's a genuine guy. Yeah. I think that's our calling more than anything. I think that's where the difference is made, more than from the pulpit or more than from being seen. I think it's the day-to-day relationships. The street gospel.
It's like street gospel. I love it. So here's the thing. Shout out to the homie Juan, Inksav, Living Clean. He came to my booth at a show one time. Hey, Los, can I drink some beer right there? Cool. I don't allow it, or I don't get down like that. But I knew where he was at. He was going through a lot, bro. So I told a couple dudes at the booth, hey, he's gonna drink some beer right here. Just Just kick it, dog. You know, love him. He shows up with his case. Homeboy was doped up, drinking. I could just tell, sweating it. And I was like, man, I gotta love this dude. He's I gotta jam. He just jammed quick. Followed him to the alley. I prayed with him, bro. Hey, can I pray with you? I know you're going through things. I prayed with him. Later on, months later, he gets addicted. He loses his wife. His kids disown him. He's out in the streets. He's in a hospital bed, about to start dialysis the next day. And a nurse walks in and says, yo, you got any family here that wants to see you or you want to call? He says, they don't want to hear me. She's like, how about God? You want to pray? He's like, God don't want to hear me. She prayed with him that day. The next day, he was healed, bro. Wow. He didn't start he took off from the hospital, restored relationship with his wife. He was sleeping on the couch for a minute. His kids came back around. Now he's married and saved in a church.
Power of God, man.
In a church. But what if we would have got that one lady that smirked and seen him drinking at my canopy?
What if people didn't spend time with you? The one
up.
guy. They gave up on you. The one.
Yeah.
There would be no servant. There would be no servants. There would be none. The people that you're ministering to or helping or are guiding or being an example to, leading to the Lord.
Yeah.
Nothing. So the one is important. I always tell you don't know. Mm-hmm. I could lead somebody to the Lord on the street and never see them again.
And have patience.
You know?
I've had dudes call me crying. Tattoo artists crying, bro. On the phone. Yo, Los, read me a scripture. I read a scripture. That's a good one, Los. Can you read me another one? I'm reading scriptures. Third scripture. And when I see the dude, I'll throw that in his face. No. Just love the dude, man.
Love him.
Freaking, hey, what's up? Like nothing happened, you know? Patience, bro. God's going to do a lot of things, I believe, with the people we're around.
That's it, bro.
We're around. Us. Not just me, but you and everyone else, you know, that gets it.
That's it.
Outreach, period. I love that picture of your dad. Your dad, when he's holding that sign, or the couple of the dudes behind him holding the sign, he's right there just like posted.
That's what it's about, man.
Yeah.
It's about reaching the streets. That's what this podcast is about, just telling good stories, but telling stories of a redeemed life through Jesus Christ. I mean, you're a great example of that. I appreciate your friendship, man. I thank you for coming down. I mean, we can do this all night, but OG Camel, he's ready to bounce right now, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I told you we could talk all day, bro. This is the thing with the podcast. Before we jam, I got what me and Camel call the Furious Five. All right?
Okay.
So the Furious Five, bro. I mean, we ask you 5 questions, okay? And some of them are cool. Some of them, but we want to know a little bit more about you. Real quick, not long answers, okay? You got me here for 2 hours.
Nah.
All right. If you weren't a printer running Srvntz and you could have any job, your dream job will be what?
Man, I like to, young adults, youth, counselor, something dealing
with. A counselor.
Yeah. Something to like help out with my life, basically. Should be relatable.
Cool. All right. Favorite music group?
Sublime. A lot of people be like, Sublime?
All day?
Right, all day. Back then. Now, I don't know.
Once in a while?
Now it's my baby girl, Callie. There's some funny stuff now.
Whatever she wants, you listen to. That's the way it goes. All right, man. Chucks or Cortez?
Chucks.
All day?
All day. I just bought a new pair the other day.
Right? I'm Chucks. Believe it or not, I never own a pair.
I like Cortez.
I never owned a pair of Cortez in my life.
I have a couple. I love them, but my foot is wide. Those are narrow shoes. I can't.
And the new Chucks are great.
New Chucks are amazing.
Right? All right. What is a perfect day in the life of Los? If you had a perfect day, one day, what would it be? What would it include? What would happen? What would you be doing? What would it be? Perfect day. You go home at the end of the day at night and you're just like, man.
The whole family together.
Just together.
Yeah, because my oldest, he's here and there, but the days he's with us, that's a good day.
That's a perfect day.
He's in a picture. He's in, that's a good day.
Last question. The person you admire the most?
My dad.
Your dad?
My dad.
Why?
Everything I shared today, that dude's been my ace. I remember when I was in Kansas City, I didn't see my son and I missed a birthday. And I was so happy to see my dad right next to him by his cake. Because he was that man that I couldn't be for many years. And even to this day, you know.
Nice, man. Your dad's a good dude, man. I love your dad.
100.
I love your dad, man. Hey, Los, thank you, man, for coming out. Appreciate you, man. We can talk all day, all night, you know, but I know you got a little drive home. Not too bad, though. But thank you, brother. Anything you want to shout out before we go?
Man, Billy the Kid, my boy Jay, that dude's getting it. He's getting it.
Nice.
And look out for him, man. Photographer, LA.
Ooh. I want everybody to check out Srvntz. Go to his page at Srvntz. Go to his webpage, buy something. Follow him at Messiah's Misfits, his personal page. Give him a follow, man. We appreciate you, Los.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out, brother.